You never really expect betrayal to come from someone who shared your last bowl of garri, but in Lagos, dreams are built on trust, and sometimes that is the very thing that breaks them. Ekene and Dotun met during NYC, two young men from different states, different tribes, but one hustle. They clicked immediately, not just because they shared the same bunk, but because they had the same hunger. Not just the hunger to survive, but to succeed. After service, while most of their campmates scrambled to get government jobs, Ekene and Dotun took a gamble. They stayed back in the city with no jobs, no family nearby, and just one thing in their corner: an idea. They noticed that many small businesses in their area struggled with same-day deliveries. Boutique owners, bakers, Instagram vendors, all complaining about unreliable dispatch riders. So Chima pitched it casually one evening. Bro, what if we start our delivery thing? Just the two of us. You have your bike, I have my mouth. Let's run it. Dotun laughed at first, but the idea stuck. They called it Swift Drop Logistics. The name wasn't fancy, but it worked. Dotun did the riding, pickups, drop-offs, handling customers on the road. Chima was the face, branding, client calls, WhatsApp orders, social media pages. They used Dotun's old Okada and Chima's cracked screen Infinix. They slept on the floor in a one-room apartment and ate bread with sardines for dinner. But they were working and growing. Every time a delivery went smoothly, Chima would post customers' feedback on Instagram with a funny caption. Dotun would just shake his head, smile, and get ready for the next ride. The others picked up. They bought a second-hand phone just for business. Soon they had enough to paint Dotun's bike and slap their name on the box. Swift Drop. We deliver fast, we deliver right. But like most young startups, they skipped the paperwork. The plan was always, we will register it later when money comes. And Dotun was the one who said he would handle the business side. I have a cousin that does CAC work. I will talk to him when the time is right. For now, let's just make money first. Chima did not question it. They were friends, brothers even. He trusted him. Months passed. They got a few contracts with gift shops, bakeries, and even a small pharmacy. Their page hit 5,000 followers. Chima began dreaming bigger. A proper office, branded bikes, even a Swift Drop mobile app. Dotun stayed grounded, quiet, loyal, always nodding when Chima talked about the future, but never adding much. They shared profits 50-50. They never argued over money, and for a while, it truly felt like they were building a future together. Then came the call that would change everything. An investor from South Africa. Someone who had seen their page, read the reviews, loved the brand. He said he wanted to meet. Let's talk. I'm interested in bringing Swift Drop into a bigger funding conversation. Chima nearly jumped out of his bed. He told Dotun, who simply nodded and said, "That's good. Let's see how it goes." But Dotun didn't sound excited. He sounded cautious. And that's when things started to shift. The investor, Mr. Linke, came in 2 weeks later. Middle-aged, glasses, firm handshake. He loved the concept of Swift Drop, loved the social media buzz, said that the branding was fresh, young, and scalable. He asked basic questions first. How many deliveries per day? What is the profit margin? How many riders on payroll? Chima answered most of them. Dotun only spoke when asked. He stayed in the background, eyes darting from table to floor. At first, Chima thought he was just shy. Then came the document question. Who owns the business officially? What is the registration name? And how is equity divided on paper? There was a pause, a silence that hung like fog over the room. Chima looked at Dotun. Dotun looked at his hands. Then he smiled awkwardly and said, "The documents are safe. I'll send them by email." Mr. Lincoln nodded. "Okay, I will wait." That night, Chima asked about it in the apartment. "Guy, where is the CAC certificate? We need to scan and send it." Dotun replied calmly, Don't worry, I will handle it tomorrow. I will go to my cousin's place. He's the one that helped us with it. The next day passed, then another. No email was sent. Chima asked again. Dotun snapped a little. I said I will send it. Why are you stressing me? Is it not still our business? Still our business. Chima forced himself to relax. Maybe Dotun was just feeling overwhelmed. After all, he was the one out there riding every day, rain or shine. But still, it bugged him. Why hadn't they done the registration together? Why hadn't he insisted on seeing the paper back when they started? They kept running operations as usual. Deliveries continued. They hired a third rider, got a tiny office space near Surulere. Tima handled a few marketing deals, even did an Instagram giveaway that went semi-viral. Business looked good, but Tima started noticing a pattern. The tone has become cold, guarded. He locked his drawer now, kept a second phone. When Chima asked for login access for their business account, Dotun said, I'll give you once I clean up. There are still some things to sort. Then one day, a bakery client messaged Chima privately and said, Hey, are you and Dotun still working together? Because he came here yesterday with a different business card. Chima froze. What do you mean? The client sent a photo. It was Dotun, smiling. But the card read, Swift Fleet Logistics, a name Chima has never heard of in his life. That night, Chima confronted him. Dotun looked tired, not angry, not guilty, just tired. He replied, I was just testing the waters. The name is for backup, in case we decide to branch out. Chima didn't buy it, but he didn't push. Still, the seed of doubt had already taken root. 2 days later, Mr. Linke followed up. No one has sent me the document. If you're not ready, that is okay. I just need transparency. That is when Chima made the decision. He would go to the CAC office himself, just to check, just to be sure. And what he found would change everything. Chima had never been to the CAC office before. He imagined it would be stressful. Maybe they would even bounce him out. But that wasn't what happened. It took just 25 minutes. He printed SAT slip and 1,000 naira. And a soft-spoken attendant who said, Swift Drop Logistics? Yes, the company is active. Registered last year. He turned the monitor so he could see. Registered owner, Dotun Akinwale. Status, sole proprietor. No additional signatories. Chima's mouth went dry. There it was, black and white, final. Everything they built, every customer, every logo, every deal was under one name, and it wasn't his. He walked back to their office like a ghost. The city noise faded in a dumb hum. He unlocked the door, sat on the chair, and just stared at the Swift Drop logo on the wall. His face bruised. Dotun had messaged, Where you dey? Need help with today's bulk delivery run. Chima replied, Come to the office, we need to talk. Dotun came an hour later, wiping sweat off his face, helmet under his arm. He knew. The moment he walked in and saw Chima's face, he knew. Chima didn't waste time. Why is my name not on the registration? Dotun didn't flinch. He sat down, took a deep breath and said, Because I'm the one who registered it. Chima's voice cracked. But we agreed to do it together. Dotun replied, calm as ever. No, you assumed that. I told you I would handle it, and I did. So, what does that mean, Dotun? All this time I was just, what? A helper? Dotun finally looked him in the eye. You were part of it, yes. But I built this with sweat. I did the work. You made the noise online, yes. But who carried the boxes in the rain? Who ran night runs when dispatchers bailed? Chima was stunned. So that is how you measure value because I wasn't the one riding. To the clients I brought, the branding, the face, that's nothing. Dotun shrugged. I'm not saying it is nothing. I'm saying you didn't sign anything. I just moved early. It is business. Then he dropped a brown envelope on the table. Inside it, a check. 800,000 naira. Dotun spoke softly. Take this. You can start something new. Or do your thing. No hard feelings. Chima looked at the check, then at Dotun. He didn't speak. Not because he had nothing to say, but because there was too much. This wasn't about money. It was about betrayal that didn't come with a knife, but with a smile. The betrayal of someone who watched you dream and quietly made sure you never own it. Chima left the office that evening without a check. He didn't slam the door, didn't shout, didn't beg. He just walked. Not to own, not to anyone, just away. And in that moment, everything changed. For weeks, Chima disappeared. No more posts, no more deliveries, no more swift drop. He stayed in his brother's spare room in Aja, surviving on noodles and silence. He didn't tell anyone what happened, not even his mother. Because how do you explain being robbed by someone who never used a gun? But Lagos moved fast. While Chima grieved the partnership, Swift Drop kept going. Dotun rebranded the logo, changed the tagline, updated the Instagram bio. He posted smiling pictures with new clients, ran a 2-year strong giveaway, even hired 2 more riders and moved into a bigger office in Lekki Phase 1. It looked like he had won, but looked sly because behind the filters and fake smiles, Dotun was drowning. The cracks started small, missed deliveries, riders stealing fuel money, then a batch of expensive packages went missing. A client sued 1.5 million naira. Next, one of his dispatch riders was caught in an accident. The victim's family demanded a settlement, and most importantly, the investor, Mr. Linke, gone. Word got around that Swift Drop had registration issues, that the founding story wasn't as plain as it looked. He pulled out without a word. Dotun tried fixing things. He pushed more ad, offered discounts, but bad PR spreads faster than express delivery. Within 6 months, Swift Drop's page was quiet. Clients vanished. Riders left. And Dotun was alone again. Meanwhile, Chima had begun again. Quietly. He didn't post. He didn't announce. He started freelancing as a digital marketer. He took on small jobs, made logos for 10,000 naira, wrote captions for 3,000 naira. Then one day, a woman who sold baby clothes reached out. I need a delivery guy I can trust. All these dispatch riders keep messing up. Chima paused. Hold wounds. But something in him sparked. I can help, he said. I will handle it personally. He called up an old friend who had a bike, gave him clear instructions. Pick up here, drop off there. No delay, no stories. The delivery went perfectly. The woman referred 2 more friends, then 5. Chima didn't make noise, didn't open a new page. He called the project Clean Drop. Not a company, just a movement. A silent promise to do things right. By the 10th client, he built a website. By the 20th, he partnered with an app developer. He still hadn't taken a loan, still hadn't rented an office, just a clean setup within his room. But he had trust. And in Lagos, trust is currency. One night, months later, when Clean Drop had already come to spotlight, Dotun walked past a billboard in Ikeja. It was simple, white background, no flash. Clean Drop, because delivery should be about trust. Dotun stood there, staring, for a long time. No rage, no tears, just a slow, sinking realization. He had won the company, but lost the mission. It was a rainy Thursday afternoon when Dotun texted Chima again. because he had known. No emojis, no greetings, just 6 words. I saw your billboard. Well done. Chima read it, didn't reply, closed the message and went back to work. Because by now, things had changed. Clean Drop wasn't just a high brand, it was a trusted one. Now had 8 riders, all trained, uniformed, and tracked. No delivery was ever more than 15 minutes late. Chima had built a team from scratch. No loans, no investors, just goodwill and word of mouth. He started hosting free webinars for young disparate startups. He taught them what he wished he knew at the beginning. Register early, document everything, trust is earned, not given. People called him the Korea mentor. He didn't laugh at the title, he wore it with pride. Clean Drop had now become a respected name. Chima no longer needed to post gimmicks or giveaways. He earned loyalty, and in Lagos, that is louder than any billboard. By the time Clean Drop reached its 1-year anniversary, they had completed over 12,000 deliveries without a single unresolved complaint. Even a logistics journalist did a story on them, from betrayed to boss, how one man rebuilt what was stolen. But far across town, Dotun's world was caving in. The client is snatched using Chima's early contact list. They were gone, his riders unpaid and angry. Some went online to leak chats and audio of how he had mistreated them. The big blow came when a client, a Lagos-based food subscription company, sued Sweet Drop for 3.8 million naira in damages. Their entire week's orders were ruined due to failed deliveries. Dotun tried to stall, tried to blame staff, tried to fake a system breach, but the court didn't care. He had no accountant, no defense, no written employee contracts. Judgment was passed. He was ordered to pay in full, but he couldn't. His business accounts were frozen. Riders quit. The office landlord locked the door after 3 months of unpaid rent. Bikes were seized to settle debts. Swift Drop officially collapsed. He tried to register a new name, but the word had spread. His face was now associated with fraud, pride, and failure. No vendor would trust him. No rider would work for him. No client would touch his proposals, even for free. Dotun was bankrupted. And for the first time since NYSC, he returned to his uncle's house, jobless, businessless, and forgotten. One evening, as Chima was leaving a youth entrepreneurship event, someone walked up behind him. He called Chima's name and said, "I lost everything. You were right, all of it. I was afraid you would outgrow me, so I tried to cut ahead." Chima looked at him, not with hate, just clarity. "You didn't just lose a business, Dotun. You lost a brother. You lost you." Dotun wiped his face. "I just want to work again. Anything, even as a rider." Chima paused, then gently shook his head. "Not here, not with me, but I hope you find your feet." He walked away, and Dotun stood under the street light, the sound of passing bikes echoing behind him. None of them is. Some men lose money, others lose time, but the worst kind of loss is trust. And in the city of dreams, when trust breaks, sometimes it never comes back.